folks. Happy New Year 2022 and welcome to the garden. I wanted to give a review on growing Yod Fah Chinese broccoli in the Southwest Desert Garden in the fall. The video coverage I'm about to show you is from November 24th, and at the end of it we'll come back to today, January 1st, and I'll give you a couple of notes, opinions on what it was like growing Yod Fah in the fall garden. See how it looks before the freezing temperatures that we're expecting over the next 2 nights. This one front and center was in the earliest planting. This was end of August, 1st of September. Planted the entire bed, but this was the only one that came up. It looks nice and strong, but the weather in September, about September 15th, I think we had 108 degrees Fahrenheit, and so that early planting couldn't survive the hot weather, not just that day, but the surrounding days. The seeds wouldn't germinate. So then what you see here, these smaller plants, would be the replanting about September 20th or 22nd, along about in there. And then these itty bitty tiny ones were where there were gaps in between. And so that would have been following this September 20th planting of these medium-sized plants. So a couple weeks later, just plugging in extra seeds. So there's about 3 different plantings represented in this bed. And the one that's really ready to be picked, well, I mean, you can pick these too and eat the stems, eat the leaves. But it hasn't grown a little floret yet down in there. Let me show you where this one has. Cute little leaves covering it. Right there is a little floret. So that indicates readiness. And again, you can harvest these other ones too, even though they don't have a floret. You're still eating the stem and the leaves. But as far as what Yod Fah does and is capable of, and what we saw in my spring planting of Yod Fah, is that that's what it does. And then you can, after you clip it and harvest it, it'll grow more of those in later days. But this bed doesn't have too many more later days. With the freeze coming, I think it's going to take out this crop. Let me show you where some cold weather has already damaged some of the smaller plants. Take a look at this cute Yod Fah plant. It looks like some cold weather has already troubled it. The purple leaf. This one looks pretty good. Here's some more purple leaf. This one here is a little bit limp. So some cold weather has already affected this bed. I'm fairly certain that the next 2 nights of really cold freeze is going to just wipe out the rest of the bed. So I'm going to do a little harvesting of these medium size. Well, you know what, I'm going to take the small ones, the medium ones, that one down on the end, that's quite large, that actually has the floret. Some of these ones that have already gone purple or limp, I'm just going to throw in the compost and not bother with eating those ones. Here is the amount I'll be taking in to saute up with dinner tonight. I'll throw in a couple other vegetables, onions and carrots and things, and just serve it over rice, probably with soy sauce and vinegar. So there we go. Fall planted Yod Fah. One harvest before cold weather sets in. So the video clips you've just seen are from November, at the end of growing Yod Fah. I was able to get one harvest, one dinner for my family. If you want notes on my spring planted Yod Fah and how you were able to cut and come again throughout the season, I'll post a link. And that just wasn't the case with Yod Fah in the fall. I got one cutting from each plant before cold weather set in. It's not a cold hardy plant. Really good though, and so therein lies the when is it or when is it not worth it to grow something. And for me, having that dinner of leafy greens that are just so good and nutritious and taste really great fresh from the garden, for me that was worth it. One note though, something I would do differently. Per the package instructions, you grow Yod Fah about 8 inches apart. And in the spring, I would say that that's definitely necessary, because that plant grows and it grows hardier and hardier as spring goes along into summer, and you'll clip off a harvest and then it'll grow a couple more, and you come back and you cut and come again. This plant that keeps on growing more and more stout. But if it's going to be a tender plant that you only cut from one time, I'm thinking that I will try, and this is not something I've tried yet, but it's notes and ideas for growing next fall, which I think I will. It's that yummy of a plant. I think I will grow it perhaps 4 inches apart, and then maybe get 2 full dinners out of it. Anyway, those are my notes on growing Yod Fah in the fall. That's it. Happy gardening.